All right, so what does it actually take to make $100 a day? It sounds like a daunting number, and the first thing you need to do is just reverse engineer the process and what it's going to take. So let's break it down. The average cold call, from my experience, ends up taking about 1 to 3 minutes on average if you make 100, and this includes all the non-answers that go straight to voicemail, so those are 5 seconds, and then it includes the live calls that end up going 10 minutes. It usually averages out in this range, so on the low end, a 1-minute average equals 100 minutes, which is about an hour and 40 minutes. A 3-minute average equals 300 minutes, which is about 5 hours. Usually you end up falling somewhere in the middle. So the answer is generally about 3 to 4 hours of cold calling if you are truly ripping dials. And what I mean by ripping is you're focused, you're not distracted, and even more importantly, you've teed up the process for yourself, which I'm going to talk about in a second, to not need to do research in between cold calls. If you're spending a minute, 2 minutes, and hesitating before you pick up the phone, that's going to eat into this time, and it's going to be impossible to make $100 a day. So how you can get to this point is through a process I call coiling the spring, which is essentially having your targeted contact list built in advance, so you know who you're going to be calling in advance when you sit down. You have your targeted cold call scripts for that list built in advance, and ideally they should match. If you're calling a list of finance people, 100 of them, you should have a script that's targeted for finance people so you're not jumping between personas. And then you have your scheduled call blocks in advance. You know when you're going to be calling in general. And then this is what allows you to do zero research in between cold calls. If you're calling a CFO that works in the retail industry and you have 100 of them on a list and you have a script that's targeted for CFOs in retail and how your value proposition aligns to that, you should be confident that your script will be relevant to all of them without needing to pull up their LinkedIn, research their company, things like that. So the reason most SDRs struggle doing this and why 100 dials is out of reach for most sales reps is they lack the strategy in list building and cold call script design. They're mostly just winging it, and they're trying to figure out, one, on the fly who they're going to be calling and what they're going to say to them. And what I'm telling you is you need to do that up front through that process I call coiling the spring. And they're spending too much time researching in between calls. I'm here to tell you, you do not need to do this research in order to make an effective cold call. You just need to know their job title, their name, so you don't screw that up, and the value proposition that you have that's relevant for that specific job title, industry, whatever list you built for yourself. And then the other problem is the live calls last too long due to not being centered around setting the meeting. A lot of reps are trained to lead off with open-ended qualifying questions, do discovery, qualify BANT, budget, authority, need, timeline. And what I'm telling you is the goal of a cold call is to set a meeting. We want yes or no answers. And if it's a no, cool, but at least we find that out 2 to 3 minutes into the call instead of 10 to 15 minutes into the call. And on that same note, 90% of your cold call efficiency, because of everything I just shared, is determined before you pick up the phone. It doesn't matter how motivated you are. If you haven't done this stuff and coiled the spring beforehand, making $100 is going to be an absolute drag and near impossible. So another way of thinking about this is batch your buyers. Create lists with common buying triggers. Either they all work for the same company, they all work in the same department, they share the same job title, geography if that's relevant for you, or some combination of them, so that you can create targeted cold call scripts for each of the contacts on this list, use the same structure, and only make slight adjustments like their name and the name of their company. And then you know which lists you're going to be calling and at what times of day, which I'm going to show you in a bit here. So what this actually looks like, rather than talking about it, is here on the left is very representative. And I used to make all these same mistakes of what I used to pull up when cold calling and deciding what list I was going to target. I'd have a VP of operations at Greenleaf Farms. Then I'd have an IT director at Metro Bank Financial, a totally different industry. Then an IT infrastructure lead at Everglow Cosmetics, now a cosmetics company, procurement specialist in construction, and so on. And I hope you see you're going to have to rewire your brain in between every cold call. What do I say to a VP of ops versus an IT director versus someone in procurement versus CFO? This is what slows you down and creates a lot of friction for yourself. So what a batched list in a coiled spring looks like is if you were calling controllers that work specifically in the banking industry. Now I don't need to know anything more than that they're a controller in banking and they all have the same title. They all work for a bank. Now I can come up with one script that's targeted for controllers at banks. And all I need to do to change my cold call scripts is change their name and change the name of the account or the company they work for. Everything else about the script, I can keep the same and be confident that it's going to be targeted and relevant for every person on this list. Not the case with this list. So what this looks like, if I came up with a script for controllers in banking, it could sound something like, "Hey Marcus, this is Connor Murray calling from Capital Site. How are you?" "Good, yeah, I'm just reaching out because I'm part of the financial applications team here that supports banking organizations like Evergreen Bank. And we mostly focus on priorities related to automating account reconciliations, accelerating the month-end close process, and improving regulatory reporting accuracy, usually by working with finance teams to automate transaction matching, standardize reporting, and then reduce the overall reliance on spreadsheets across the close cycle." So I'll be your main point of contact here for any priorities you may have in these areas going forward, whether it's audit readiness, GL consolidation, internal reporting, anything like that. And I just wanted to reach out and make sure I properly introduced myself. So I'll link to videos where I go way more in depth on creating cold call scripts and what I actually like to call value statements. That's not the point of this video. You can shorten this, lengthen it, make any tweaks you want. The important point is that this is a repeatable structure that I can use to call just about any controller in banking and be confident that it's going to be a valuable, relevant message for them. And you can see where I highlighted the areas of the script I highlighted that I changed and adjusted to make it more targeted to a controller in banking. This way, I can be ready to call Marcus and deliver this if he answers, but if he doesn't answer, I can just immediately call the next person on my list, Sarah, knowing that they're a controller in banking, and be ready to deliver this same exact cold call script without having to do any pre-call research in between. But the key to doing this is you have to coil the spring first, and you have to bite the bullet a little bit. You have to do the work at some point. So I choose to do it up front. I'll take a few days at the start of every quarter, wake up early, stay late, do it over a weekend if I have to, and build out all my segmented lists based on the top job titles I go after, the industries they work in, market segments I go after. And in the previous example, I did controllers in banking. Let's say I wanted to do controllers in retail. Maybe I have one account executive that's in the financial services space and another that's in retail. Now I can do the same thing. All of these people work at different companies, but they're all retail companies and they're all controllers. So here's how you can use that same script I showed you before, but instead you can see how I replaced some of the banking controller priorities I was talking about with inventory cost control, multi-location financial visibility, and accelerating month-end close cycles, centralizing store-level reporting, and improving forecasting accuracy. But go back, most, if not all of the script looks largely the same, and I just build these out. I build out all my lists in advance, I build out all my templates in advance, and now it's about how can we actually implement this in a scalable way. And the key to doing this is knowing how to leverage your tools. So this should not be a super long, complicated process. It shouldn't be manual, sifting through spreadsheets, 4 hours to get your one list ready to go. You only need 3 simple capabilities, and there's lots of tools out there to do this, but you need the ability to filter large amounts of contacts and leads by your key buying triggers. So you need to go into a B2B contact database, be able to filter by department, job title, industry, market segment, employee count, whatever those key buying triggers for you are. You need to be able to filter down by those desired criteria. You need the ability to click a button and add them to a list and call it controllers and banking list, and then the ability to contact them one by one via the phone. If you have these 3 capabilities, you have what you need to do this and coil the spring and make $100 a day. If you don't, you need to figure out how to get this done. It's a bottleneck you need to overcome, or cold calling is going to be a miserable process for yourself. So like I was saying, list building shouldn't be a super manual, time-intensive process. Don't ask, I have all these tools at my disposal. I coach a lot of people where they have 15 different tools they're given. Instead of saying, how do I use all these tools? Just ask, what do I need the CRM to do for me? And these are the 3 things you need it to do. And like I said, you have to solve this bottleneck for cold calling to be a viable method of prospecting. Once you do and you coil the spring, $100 a day actually becomes very easy if you know how to plan out your day, which is what I want to touch on here next. So here is how to structure, or how I've structured when I was making $100 a day for 6 months straight. This is generally how I structured my day. I took into account that a lot of you are probably also emailing and not just cold calling, but if you're not emailing, then this becomes easier. I liked to structure my day with emails in the morning. The first hour and a half of the day was generally my email block because it took me some time to get going. I needed my coffee, I needed the blood flowing, and usually by about 10, I was ready to go. So I generally had 2 call blocks that I adhered to every single day. One was from 10:30 to 12. The other was 3:30 to 5 p.m. at the end of the day. The reason I structured it this way is because both open rates for emails and answer rates on cold calls are highest in the early morning before people have gotten their day started, 8 to 9:30 in their time zone, and then at the end of the day, about 4 to 5, and you can even go to 5:36 if you need. So I liked to structure my day, emails in the morning, get those out, and my first call block, I'm in Eastern Standard Time, I would call accounts that were in Central or Pacific Time where the time of day for them was early morning, so I was getting that early morning cold call effect, and then I used the end of the day to cold call my Eastern Standard Time accounts. But if you really want to take this to the next level, and you'll have to if you want to make $100 a day, 3 hours is not always going to be enough. So you have to be ready to either go through lunch. Like if I was on a heater, I would just keep going through lunch. Like I didn't want to stop. And even at the end of the day, keeping that time zone effect into account, I could stay late and call at 6 p.m., call my Central Time accounts, at 7 p.m., call my Pacific Time accounts, because it was a time of day for them where it was acceptable to call. And that way you can extend the amount of time that you're cold calling. Or if you're not emailing, then it's easy. Use this block for cold calling as well. And now you have 4.5 hours of your day every single day dedicated to cold calling. But the key is you have to know which lists you're calling, have your value statement cold call scripts prepared in advance so that when you sit down at 10:30, you know you're cold calling controllers in banking, you got your script ready to go, and you can just dial without having to think or do pre-dial research in between calls. So hope this helped. Hope this broke down the process of making $100 a day. It sounds daunting at first, but when you break it down, it's actually a very achievable goal. If this resonated and you're looking for more hands-on coaching and guidance around cold calling, you can check out the links in the pinned comment and description below to Cold Call Mastery. I created the course from scratch. If I was to leave something for myself to relearn cold calling, this is it. And I lead the live coaching calls in there every single week. So hope to see you in there. And also hope you got value out of this video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, all that, and I'll see you all on the next one.